Today I want to make a copycat version of the Crumbl sugar cookies. So in a bowl I have 1 cup of softened salted butter and 1 cup of sugar. That was a half a cup measuring cup. That's why I did 2. And then I'm going to cream these together. And you do want to make sure when you're creaming your butter and your sugar that you beat them with your mixer for a good solid 2 to 3 minutes. You want to get a really good cream. And then you're going to add in 2 room temperature eggs and give that a mix. And then you're going to add in about a teaspoon of vanilla and about a half a teaspoon of almond extract. Almond extract is quite potent, so be careful with that one. And give that a mix, and then once all your wet ingredients are combined, you're going to add your dry ingredients, which are simply 3 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I did get this recipe from the website of Cooking with Carly. She makes the greatest cookies. And then just mix that together and form your dough and use your large cookie dough scooper or about a 1/4 cup and make your dough balls and then flatten them out with the back of a measuring cup or the bottom of a cup. Just flatten the dough balls a little bit to get that sort of hollowed out center. They will puff up a bit when you cook them. I previously had preheated my oven to 350 and I'm going to bake these for 10 to 11 minutes. And they come out so perfectly golden brown. And now let's work on the frosting. You need 1 stick of softened butter, not melted like I did, just softened. And then you need to add about 2.5 to 3 cups of powdered sugar, a half a teaspoon of almond extract, and a couple tablespoons of milk. I added about 2, and I'm going to give it a good mix, and then you'll see later on I add a little bit more milk. But at this point, if you're going to use food coloring to make this, like the Crumbl cookies are pink frosting. I don't have any food coloring, so I'm just going to leave mine white, but this is when you'd add your food coloring. And then get your frosting to the texture or consistency that you like. You don't want it to be too thin. It needs to be workable, but also not too thick. So just go with what you like. And then you're just going to frost your cookies. These are so simple and so delicious, and they don't cost $4.25 each, which I believe is what Crumbl cookies cost these days. I hope you give these a try. Enjoy!